All right, so I realized that people really don't want to watch an hour-long video on YouTube, so I figured I'd make a few short videos about compliance and running legal. This video, I want to talk about hours of service. No, you cannot just drive whenever you feel like it. Be nice if it worked that way, but sadly it's not. Best way to do it, you got to run a logbook. Doesn't matter that you don't have a CDL. It doesn't matter that you're not driving a Peterbilt. If you're running hotshot, you are required to have a logbook on board. In today's world, if your truck is made after 2001, I believe, or 2000, this means that you're required to have electronic logs. Um, I have two trucks. I have one that is required for ELDs, which is a 2019 Dodge Ram 3500. And my other truck is a 1992 F350 that I could run paper on. Unless you're Unless you're familiar with paper logs, e-logs are by far the easiest. They also keep you out of trouble with the DOT. Every electronic log comes with an instruction booklet that tells you exactly how to send them to the DOT upon demand, and you are required to. They also provide you with a way to make sure that the DOT is aware that you have e-logs by labeling on the truck, if you choose to do that. So if you like stickers on your truck, some do, some don't. That sticker, I don't mind because it lets DOT know that I'm running legal. I've got nothing to hide. I'm running legal. It's electronic. Electronic logs automatically log the second you start driving. They'll tell you when you stopped. They'll tell you where you're at. You may have to put your comments in there, like if you pull into a truck stop to do fueling, which is an on-duty thing. And we'll get to more on duty and off duty later on. They'll let you know, you log when you stop, you log when you do a pre-trip, you log when you drive. All right, let's talk about the 5 lines. Now, when I'm talking about lines, I'm referring to the old paper logs. Unfortunately, I don't have one to use for reference right now with me as I'm sitting in a hotel room, but there are lines on the old logbook, and those lines mean something. Line 1 means off duty, which is me right now. Hey, I'm line 1. I'm off duty. Line 2 is sleeper berth. Line 3 is driving. Line 4 is on duty, not driving. And some people will refer to, and I'm guilty of this myself, line 5, which is actually an extension of line 1. Line 5 means personal conveyance. There's really no line 5. It's your personal conveyance is logged on line 1. I'm going to talk about personal conveyance a little more later. Line 1 is off duty. That's anything you're not doing that's on duty. If you're sitting in the truck reading a book, you're off duty. Hopefully, you're not doing this while you're driving. More than likely, you'll be off duty, sitting in a truck reading a book. If you are driving, obviously you're driving. You're line 3. But what if you're doing stuff that you're not driving? What is on duty and off duty? Well, in the way of a hot shot, more than likely, you're going to load your trailer. You're going to strap your trailer, tarp your trailer, chain your trailer, the load to the trailer, whatever. you're going to be doing this. Well, you're physically doing it. Unlike a semi, say you're pulling a reefer or you're pulling a dry van, you're not going to have to load that yourself. The only thing you're going to do is back to the dock, which is on duty when you back, and pull forward, close the doors, lock it up. Well, with Hot Shot, you're a little bit more involved in that. You've got to get that load secured to the trailer. You've got to. It's not going to secure itself. You're on duty. So if you're tarping and strapping and all that, you're doing this on duty. You will log it on line 4, which is on duty, not driving. What about if you're getting fuel? Well, if you're getting fuel, you're on duty, not driving. If you are doing your pre-trip in the morning, and I'm going to do a whole nother video on pre-trip, I guarantee. I may actually set the camera up and record me doing my own pre-trip. You're going to be on duty, not driving. And that time goes against, and this is where this comes into play. All right, DOT rules state that you may not drive more than 11 hours without taking a 10-hour break. You may not drive past the 14th hour of being on duty without taking a 10-hour break. You may not drive past the 70th hour of being on duty in an 8-day time period. So what does this all mean? It means you're doing your pre-trip in the morning, your time automatically starts. Your 14-hour rule started. We call it the 11, 14, 70. We also have an 8-hour rule, which I'll get into in a minute. Right now, let's just talk about the 11, 14, and 70. When you start that clock, okay, it's Monday. It's your first load. It's your first day. You wake up, stretch out, you go out to the truck, and, you start your clock. You're coming off a fresh weekend of being at the house. You fixing to leave. What you're going to do is you're going to start that truck, check everything, pop your hood, check everything, go through all that, check your tires, check your lights, check your brakes, check your trailer, make sure it's secured. You do a proper pre-trip, it should take you about 15 minutes. Now, some people I have heard of people logging 3-minute, 5-minute pre-trips. Number one, DOT knows you didn't check nothing. They ain't stupid. They are not stupid. They know you didn't check a thing. And again, I will do a video of a full-on pre-trip. Very detailed video. They know you didn't check nothing. Number two, when you start that 14-hour clock, your 11 hours not started yet. You're not driving. 11 hour is only for driving. 14-hour is your day. So you start your 14-hour clock once you do your pre-trip. All right, then you're going to get in the truck. We're going to assume that you already got the load. Take off. Once you start driving, you have your first 8 hours of on duty. You have to take a 30-minute break. This is your 8-hour rule. You have to. Now, the rules recently changed to where you could split two 15-minute off-duty breaks or one 30-minute on-duty break. So if you pull in and you get fuel, you get back out on the road, that doesn't count. Your 8-hour clock is still burning. But if you're at the shipper or the receiver loading or unloading, you can do a 30-minute break on duty. If I'm driving and I don't have to pick up or stop, this is a day where I'm just driving. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until between 3 and 4 hours after I start driving. I'm going to pull over, take a 30-minute break. Then I'm going to get back in the truck and I'm going to drive it out. There's a 30-minute break. And when I come back in, my 8-hour rule resets. If I wait longer than 3 hours driving, now I've got a fresh 8. And I've got what's left of my 11 and 14 to run, or my 70 to run if I take it that far. Depending on if you're running recaps or whatever, and I'll get to recaps in a little bit. That's your driving. That covers your own duty and your driving. You may not drive after you. I don't care if you spent all day at the shipper, and you may have drove 5 of your 11 hours today because it's just been one of those days. When you get to your 14th hour day, 14th hour on the clock, you may not drive. You have to shut it down. You're required to. Now, 70-hour rule works the same way the 14-hour rule does, except for it's 70 hours in an 8-day time period. You may work more than 70 hours. You may not drive past your 70th hour being on duty. Now, let's just say you run out. There is a fail-safe to reset it. That means 34 hours continuously on line 1. Now, here's a provision that applies specifically to hotshots. Most of us don't have a sleeper berth, not a DOT approved sleeper berth. The back seat of your truck is not a sleeper berth. The back seat of your truck is the back seat of your truck. That may be where you sleep. That's where I sleep. But it is not a DOT approved sleeper berth. You will not log sleeper berth while you are in the back seat of your truck sleeping. And I know you just went, huh? Yes. That is the letter of the law. You log it off duty. You don't log it in the sleeper berth. Now, if you go to Cowtown or one of these other places, let's see what other sleeper companies out there. All right, looking up here, you got Cowtown, you got Woodhouse. Let's see, North Point Chrysler in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, has sleepers. Cooper Motor Company has sleepers. Looks like there's several places online you can get a DOT legal sleeper, and then you can use line 2, which gives you an advantage. You can do an 8-2 split. 8 hours, 8 hours sleeper berth, 2 hours driving, and it's good. That assists you if you need the additional, you're a couple hours away from the shipper, a couple hours away from the receiver. Get it delivered first thing in the morning. It helps you out. I don't use it. I don't think I've ever done an 8-2 split. Maybe in 15 years I may have used an 8-2 split or 7-3 split maybe 5 times. Maybe 4 or 5. And I'm saying that's a big maybe. All right. So if you get a sleep berth, you get those advantages. Sorry, I keep getting phone calls and I'm trying to mix up some vitamin C because I'm up here in Ohio and it's cold. I'm a southern boy. I ain't used to the cold. Anyway, I digress. All right. So let's talk about personal conveyance. You got a pickup truck, right? Pulling a trailer. Man, I just got to get to the shipper. I just got to get to the receiver, man. Why don't I just do off-duty driving or personal conveyance? Can I do that? Let's think about this for a minute. No, absolutely not. You may not. Why can't you do personal conveyance? Real simple. If you are under a load, you can't log personal conveyance. You're not personally conveying anything. You're commercially conveying, right? You're getting paid to move it. That's not personal conveyance. That's you getting paid. That's interstate commerce. So guess what? You're line 3. You're driving. Now, you're not under a load. You're at the truck stop. You're in 34. You're on the road. You just want to go see a movie. Okay? You want to go to the grocery store or whatever. The proper way to do personal conveyance in that case is to disconnect your trailer. Obviously, if you're going to do this, what I'm fixing to say, a pro tip would be if you're at a truck stop and you disconnect your trailer, go in there to let them know and see if it's okay with them. I'm going into the Flying J and I'm gonna walk up to the counter and I'm gonna say, "Hey, I'm gonna leave my trailer here for the day and I'm just gonna go bobtail. I'm driving a hot shot. I've got that 48-foot gooseneck sitting over there. It's out of the way. I'm not in a reserve spot. I'm just gonna leave it there. Is it okay if I do that just for a few hours?" I've never had them tell me no. The only time I've ever had somebody tell me no is when I was in a reserved parking spot. But by that time, several unreserved parking spots were open. So I simply moved the trailer and then I was in a regular spot. And then I said, "Okay, I'm out of the reserved spot now. Can I go ahead and go?" And they said, "Absolutely. You go right on ahead. Don't leave it for a week and come back. Number one, it's not smart to lose a trailer. Number two, they don't like that. We're kind of at the mercy of truck stops. There's not a whole lot of places you can just park a truck. And you go to Walmart or Sam's Club or whatever, wherever you want to go. But you log it on personal conveyance. And when you look at your logbook, that invisible line 5 I was talking about will show up as straight up off duty, it will not interrupt your 34. It's a beautiful thing. It's a wonderful thing. Now, again, be careful. A lot of people don't like you using personal conveyance. A lot of companies have restricted it. Talk with your carrier and see what they require. If you're a lease operator, you still got to go by a carrier's rules on that. See what they require. Something to think about. Run legal, run smart, you'll have no problems. If you don't run legal, you'll wish you did. Let's be professional. Let's run legal. Let's do the right thing. Y'all be safe out there.